actually, while we're speaking of clips, there's one clip I want to play right now that, to me, really kind of epitomizes the idea of letting go of the idea of knowing what anything is for, or defining what anything is for. Because in this clip, the backdrop or the forum seems to be a bus stop. And there's a company that decides that they want to do some advertising at a bus stop. So they take down the map of like the bus route and they put up their advertising, and it changes. It's like an electronic billboard. And they put up a website address or a URL so that when someone walks up, they can put it into their mobile phone, and when they do that, all of a sudden this circumstance just happens in form, and it's so completely outside the definition of what I think a bus stop should be, and probably what most people think a bus stop should be, that it was just, I just couldn't believe it when I saw this clip. I was like, talk about undefined. Talk about not knowing what a bus stop is for. I mean, this is it right here. So.
Understand you're looking for a ride?
So to me that just kind of epitomizes the what we're calling the strawberry state of mind.
Yeah.
It's like just letting go. What is anything for? Like, what is even possible? Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Like when we're really open to spirit, you know, instead of denying spirit, it's like the person drives up in the sports car. It's like the guy could easily said, I don't think so, thanks anyway. You know, it's like, ooh, spirit just gave me a sports car. I'm kind of in a hurry. Let's go. You know?
Yeah.
And we're always pleasantly surprised, right?
Yeah.
When we stay out of the I know mind, right?
Yep.
It's always a pleasant surprise.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it's very delightful.
It's like not only are we given what we need, but a lot of times we find out we're even given what we want. Like spirit knows the desire of our heart. And if it's truly helpful, if it's not going to harm, well not even harm, if it's not going to delay us from remembering who we are, then spirit can use that too. It's like, I seem to think in the story of Ben that I like roller coasters. And one time I was traveling across the country and I stopped at a rest stop, and I found out that an hour north of where I was a great place with some great roller coasters. And I was supposed to meet up with someone the next day, but it wasn't until late in the day. So it was like, oh, all right, I got time. Let's go ride some roller coasters and then meet up with the person. It's like, so that willingness to just drop in and listen and follow is really the purpose of it all, because then we can be shown who we really are. We can be let go of these definitions of who we think we are. But in the process, it can be fun. It can be playful.
Fun. Yeah, that's beautiful. And it keeps on flashing. I have in my mind. I have to share it because before you really allowed yourself to be, right? I would go into his room and he'd be doing something, and as soon as I walked in his room, he'd look up like, you know. And now I walk into his room, he's like. It's like night and day, a whole different expression, you know?
Yeah.
So it's for the whole sonship.
Yeah.
Well, because the mindset has changed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before, I was always under this, the mindset was based on guilt.
Yeah.
So the thought was always, I should be doing something else, or I shouldn't be doing this.
Exactly. I've had that experience this last week that, I just noticed that was what was going on in my mind. It was totally unconscious that every time I'd start to do something, a part of my mind would start, well, you should have been doing that other thing. You shouldn't be doing this. You should be doing something else. All the time. And I guess I've lived with that all my life. I don't know. I don't know how long it's been going on.
What's the whole thought system that seemed to make this world?
Yeah, and just to see it and say, no, I'm just going to continue to do this.
Oh, that's beautiful. That helps the mind come into the present of exactly what you're doing here now. Because you can be doing, being here and you're sewing, but your mind, like you were catching, is over here doing something else while you're doing this. And it's
Right. You got to hurry up. This isn't worthwhile doing. You need to be doing something else over there.
Yeah. And that was like the cap of like pressure of like, just like this closed contraction feeling like, oh man, I don't know, I hope no one sees me doing this because I should be doing something else, or I shouldn't be doing this or whatever. So when I'd be here and all of a sudden seemingly another body would appear, like Lila would come in, I'd be like, oh shit, I've been caught. I'm guilty. Oh man, I shouldn't have been doing that. I should have been doing something else. Now it's like I'm feeling to do something, I'm like, ooh, all right, let's have fun. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, come on, join me. All right. It's a completely different mindset. It's from one of guilty to innocent, fun, playful, loving.
Yep.
Come and join me in that,
When I was getting those reflections, like you've done something wrong, I'd walk out of there going, do I have a whip? Do I have a tail? Do I have horns? What's the deal?
Well, I even had to look at the idea of roles that I had assigned to Lila. Like, there seems to be a symbol called messenger that she's using. So I had a definition in my mind of what that means. And it seems to mean that she, like one of the things it seems to mean is that she knows better than me. She's done mind training longer. She's, possibly even more committed than I am. There were all these concepts in my mind of what it meant to be a messenger. And so therefore, it was very easy to think that she would tell me I'm doing something wrong, or that she would know better what I really should be doing in each moment. Yeah, it's like, what is sane? And what's insane?
It's going to look upside down to the world.
Yeah, the world was based on guilt, based on a false premise. So what the world is going to say is insane is actually the exact opposite. It's actually moving towards sanity. It's actually moving towards the truth, towards the happiness. Same thing with strength and weakness. What the ego is going to say is weak is actually strength. It's like this idea that I think I'm Ben, I think I'm a certain age, I think I've had certain experiences. There's this whole story that seems to go along with Ben. And if I give that up completely and am led in each and every moment on what to do, the ego is saying that's just weakness. Like, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to give everything that I think I've built up? Why would I want to give that away and follow? Well, that basically implies that I think I know what makes me happy. And now by bringing these thoughts up, I'm seeing that I haven't really been happy to begin with. So it's like, instead of thinking that giving this idea of who I think I am over is weak, what if that's actually strength? What if the thoughts in the mind, there are thoughts in the mind that actually know what will lead to happiness, or how to have experiences of happiness? And listening and following, it's like, well, what if I'm even that one with those thoughts? What if it's not even a separate thing that's telling me what to do that I'm following? What if that really is myself? It's like we were talking at dinner about like being able to talk to ourselves. It's like In Time Traveler's Wife, it seems like the male character that can travel through time and speaks to his younger self and says, "You're not guilty. You couldn't have prevented this. You didn't do anything wrong. You can't change it." It's like, what if these right-minded thoughts, what if these thoughts that really lead to experiences of joy aren't even separate from me? Like, as long as I believe I'm this body, they're going to seem to be as though they're separate and I'm following something else. But what if that's not even true? What if it's just myself speaking to myself? And it's kind of like, I've actually had that experience lately. It's like, when we use the example of the corn nuts, it's like, seemingly in the story of Ben, in my childhood, I had had corn nuts, and I didn't like them. I didn't like the way they tasted or anything. Didn't want anything to do with them. Well, we went to the pantry recently, and we never know what we're going to get when we go to the pantry. We get 4 bags of corn nuts. And instead of thinking, oh man, I hate corn nuts, why did they give us corn nuts? It was like, I don't even know if I like corn nuts. I don't know if they'd be tasty or not. But it was like, the thought came in, try the corn nuts. And it's still such a different way of being for me right now that it seemed to come from something outside of me. It seemed to be in the mind, but there's still this belief that I've been holding on to that I'm separate. So these right-minded thoughts, or these thoughts of try this or do this, can sometimes still seem like they're separate. So it's like I'm almost having a dialogue with these thoughts as though they're separate from me. Like, really? I don't know. Try the corn nuts? I don't like corn nuts. You know, so it's kind of like there's this dialogue going on in the mind, but it's like I'm willing to be wrong about everything, including who I am, and which also includes what I think I like and what will make me happy. So I'm like, all right, I've got this thought in the mind, try the corn nuts. I tried the corn nuts. Oh man, they were so tasty. I think I ate 3.5 of the 4 bags. You know, so it's like just having the willingness to be open to new ideas, to be open to the thought that there are possibilities out there. There's thoughts in the mind that can really lead to happiness, to joy. Like, the more I'm willing to follow that, the less the dialogue and the questioning comes in, and the more moments of joy I have, the more experiences of happiness. It's like, I played a song last night. I'd never heard of this artist in my life, but it just popped up. It seemed to be in my awareness. I didn't even think about it. Didn't question it at all. Just clicked download. Played it. It was called The Love Generation. I was like, oh, this is cool. Thank you. You know, that's how it can be. Like, it can really be given that easily. I don't need to define how music should come in, or how prompts should look, or how listening to guidance happens, or anything like that. It's really just being open to everything, to all possibilities. It's like, I was listening to a talk from David the other day, and he was talking about how this world is just basically a bunch of hypotheticals. It's just a bunch of possibilities. It's like, and it's the idea of trying to define what's possible or what's impossible, or what's good or what's bad, or what would make me happy or what would make me unhappy. Whatever the label seems to be, or the limit or the definition seems to be, it's just a way of trying to control. It's trying to say, I want these possibilities and not these possibilities. But it's like, if I can just open up and say, I don't know what my own best interests are. I don't know what makes me happy. What if I were open to all possibilities? Then it's like,
bingo.
Yeah.
Bing, 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 bing.
Exactly. Lights going on. All right. You know, it's like, because then whatever's given, I can be happy with. And if it seems to change, I don't need to be unhappy. I can be happy in every moment because I'm trusting that I'll be given exactly what I need and even what I want.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and you're being shown.